What I'm about to reveal will completely change how you watch The Summer I Turned Pretty on Prime Video. Behind every romantic scene between Belly and Conrad that made you sob, behind every Jenny Han interview where she talked about the magic of Cousins Beach, and behind every single The Summer I Turned Pretty cast interview from Season 1 and Season 2 that you binged on Amazon Prime, there's been drama so intense it makes the love triangle look like child's play. We're talking about Amazon Prime Video themselves having to issue legal warnings to fans, a wedding where literally 0 cast members showed up, and social media activity that sparked a controversy so massive it split the entire fan base down the middle. Lola Tung's increasingly uncomfortable promotional appearances, the Prime Video full episode behind-the-scenes content that now feels awkward to rewatch, and that picture-perfect cast chemistry everyone loved has completely shattered. This isn't just celebrity news about typical Hollywood feuds. This is about how personal beliefs destroyed one of the biggest shows on streaming. If you want the full story about what really happened behind the scenes of The Summer I Turned Pretty Season 2 and beyond, and why these actors can barely stand to be in the same room anymore, stay with me because this gets wild.
Real quick, if you're about to watch me expose an entire cast's drama without subscribing, that's basically like choosing neither Team Conrad nor Team Jeremiah and just vibing alone on the beach. Hit subscribe so I know at least one person appreciates my descent into entertainment investigative journalism, eh? When The Summer I Turned Pretty dropped on Amazon Prime Video in June 2022, nobody predicted it would become the kind of phenomenon that takes over the entire internet. This wasn't just another young adult romance based on Jenny Han's book trilogy. This became a full-blown cultural moment that consumed social media every single summer since its premiere. The show didn't just attract viewers, it created armies of devoted fans who made Belly's romantic journey their entire personality.
The intensity was unlike anything since the Twilight days. Team Conrad versus Team Jeremiah debates turned into actual warfare across every platform imaginable. Fans analyzed every single interaction between Lola Tung and Christopher Briney with the intensity of forensic scientists. They dissected Lola and Gavin Casalegno's chemistry like it held the secrets to the universe. Every cast interview became evidence for elaborate shipping theories. But here's where things started getting uncomfortable. The obsession didn't stop at the fictional relationships. Fans became dangerously fixated on the actors' real lives, their personal beliefs, and their private opinions about everything under the sun. Lola Tung, Christopher Briney, and Gavin Casalegno weren't just playing characters anymore. They became the faces of one of streaming's biggest teen sensations. The success was astronomical in ways most actors never experience. Season 1 absolutely demolished Amazon Prime Video's viewing records. By the time Season 2 arrived, with massive anticipation, these young actors couldn't go anywhere without being mobbed. Their social media followers exploded into the millions, literally overnight. Magazine covers appeared, brand partnerships materialized, award nominations rolled in. This was the kind of career-launching success that changes lives forever.
But that level of fame brings pressure most people genuinely cannot comprehend. And apparently it also exposed some uncomfortable realities about who these people actually are when cameras stop rolling. Differences that would tear this cast apart in the most brutally public way anyone could imagine. The first massive red flag that something was seriously wrong came from an absolutely unprecedented move by Amazon Prime themselves. The streaming giant felt compelled to issue a public warning to fans about their increasingly dangerous behavior. They made it crystal clear they have a zero-tolerance policy for bullying and hate speech. They explicitly stated that fans who engage in harassment, target cast or crew members, or participate in any form of threatening behavior would face immediate consequences, including being banned from the platform. Stop and think about that for a second. When has a major streaming platform ever threatened to ban paying subscribers over discussions about a teen romance show? This wasn't normal fan enthusiasm spiraling slightly out of control. This was something genuinely darker and more threatening than anyone anticipated when the show first premiered. Industry reports started revealing disturbing details about just how bad things had gotten behind the scenes.
Multiple sources connected to the production share that the entire cast had been receiving an unusual amount of targeted harassment. But here's what made this different from typical celebrity hate. This wasn't coming from random internet trolls or anonymous accounts trying to stir up trouble. The harassment was coming directly from different factions within their own supposed fan base. People who claimed to love the show were the ones making these actors' lives miserable. And it was getting intensely personal, deeply political, and genuinely threatening in ways that crossed every possible line. Industry insiders revealed that both Christopher Briney and Gavin Casalegno had been receiving particularly vicious hate comments and online harassment. Several fans had apparently targeted Gavin Casalegno specifically for his alleged conservative political beliefs, including social media posts and content the actor had supposedly liked. The bullying wasn't just coming from the typical Team Conrad versus Team Jeremiah shipping wars anymore. This had evolved into something entirely different and far more sinister. This was ideological warfare playing out in the comment sections of a summer romance show, and the consequences were about to become even more publicly visible.
The real reason for all the escalating tension finally started making sense when dedicated fans began digging deeper into Gavin Casalegno's social media history and uncovered information that would change absolutely everything. According to extensive fan investigations that started gaining traction in late 2023, they discovered a pattern of online activity that seemed to completely contradict the core values of a show created by a progressive woman, centered on a strong female protagonist, and beloved by a predominantly young and socially conscious audience. The controversy absolutely exploded when fans claimed to have discovered that Gavin had allegedly liked posts celebrating women who reject feminism and embrace traditional gender roles. According to the allegations, this wasn't some accidental double tap on a random post. This was supposedly content from accounts specifically promoting traditional values and conservative viewpoints about women's roles in society. For fans of a show literally centered on female empowerment and a young woman choosing her own path, regardless of what society expects, this felt like a personal betrayal of everything the show represented.
But the discoveries apparently didn't stop there. More fan research allegedly revealed that Gavin was following and engaging with controversial figures and content that seemed completely at odds with his co-star's very public progressive positions. Fans claimed they'd found evidence of him liking posts by conservative media personalities known for their opposition to various progressive policies. With each new alleged discovery, the pattern became harder to dismiss as coincidental or meaningless. Many fans felt this confirmed their suspicions that Gavin's personal beliefs were fundamentally at odds with everything the Summer I Turned Pretty was supposed to stand for. The contrast with his co-star's online presence made the divide even more stark and obvious. Christopher Briney's Instagram consistently features content supporting progressive environmental causes and various social justice issues. Lola Tung regularly shares posts supporting reproductive rights and equality movements. Their social media activity perfectly aligns with typical Gen Z progressive values and the inclusive messaging that made the show so popular with its target demographic in the first place.
And then, allegedly, there was Gavin, whose social media activity supposedly revealed support for ideas and political positions that seemed completely opposed to his co-star's public stances. When the backlash gained serious momentum, Gavin attempted some damage control that many fans felt only made things worse. He claimed that someone else had gained unauthorized access to his accounts and was liking posts without his knowledge or permission. He insisted he didn't even have Instagram installed on his phone most of the time. But his explanation fell completely flat for several obvious reasons that fans immediately pointed out. First, the alleged pattern was too consistent and too aligned with a particular worldview to be random unauthorized access by a stranger. Second, this supposedly wasn't just one or two questionable likes. This was allegedly an extensive history spanning significant time that suggested deliberate engagement rather than random hacking.
And third, his explanation only materialized after he got caught and called out, not as a proactive security concern he'd noticed independently. The timing made it seem like calculated damage control, rather than genuine worry about account security, at least in the eyes of many skeptical fans.
Hey, if you're still watching without subscribing, I'm genuinely concerned about your commitment to supporting my very serious career of explaining why TV actors might secretly hate each other. Subscribe, because apparently this is what my journalism degree has led to, and someone needs to validate these life choices. The moment that really exposed just how fractured this cast had become should have been a beautiful celebration. Gavin Casalegno married Cheyenne King in November 2024, which should have been a joyous occasion celebrated by co-workers who had become like family during those intense filming schedules over multiple seasons. Instead, it became the smoking gun that proved these actors genuinely couldn't tolerate spending personal time together outside of their contractual professional obligations. Not a single cast member attended Gavin's wedding ceremony. Not Christopher Briney, who plays his on-screen rival in the other point of the love triangle. Not Lola Tung, who had shared intimate romantic scenes with him as Belly throughout multiple seasons. Not Sean Kaufman, who plays Steven and had worked alongside Gavin for years. Not even Jenny Han herself, the creator and executive producer, who literally launched all of their careers and made them into household names through her vision.
Now, actors occasionally missing a colleague's wedding isn't automatically a massive scandal. People legitimately have scheduling conflicts, previous family commitments, work obligations that can't be moved. But when literally every single person from your work family, people you've spent months with, filming emotional scenes and building what appeared to be genuine close friendships, completely skips your wedding without any public acknowledgement, it paints a deeply troubling picture of what's really happening behind the scenes. The internet absolutely went wild with investigative analysis and comparisons. People pulled up photos from other young adult show weddings where entire casts showed up enthusiastically to support their co-stars. The Outer Banks cast regularly celebrates each other's personal milestones and achievements with genuine public enthusiasm and affection. Stranger Things actors consistently show up for each other's important life events with visible support. Even reality television stars from shows like Love Island typically rally around their co-stars' weddings with public congratulations and attendance when possible. But the Summer I Turned Pretty cast? Complete and total radio silence. No Instagram stories congratulating the happy couple, no behind-the-scenes photos from any wedding-related events, no public acknowledgement whatsoever that this massive personal milestone had even occurred in Gavin's life. It was like his wedding existed in a completely parallel universe that none of his co-stars inhabited or wanted to be publicly associated with. The absence spoke volumes louder than any statement could have. The professional consequences of whatever was happening behind closed doors started becoming painfully obvious during what should have been routine promotional activities for the show's final season. The cast interviews that everyone used to praise for their natural chemistry and genuine affection became increasingly awkward and uncomfortable to watch. Body language experts across social media started pointing out subtle signs of tension that viewers were picking up on subconsciously, even if they couldn't quite articulate what felt different. During interviews, Christopher Briney and Lola Tung would visibly sit closer together, often engaging in side conversations that seemed to deliberately exclude Gavin from the interaction. The natural conversational flow that had made early promotional content so engaging and fun to watch started feeling forced, scripted, and painfully uncomfortable. What had once been genuine laughter and authentic chemistry between all three leads transformed into polite professionalism and barely concealed tension that even casual viewers who didn't follow the controversy couldn't help but notice. The most revealing moments came during interview questions about their friendships and relationships off-screen. In early Season 1 and 2 promotional interviews, all three leads would enthusiastically share funny stories about hanging out between takes, going to dinner together after filming, and developing genuine, close friendships that extended beyond just their work. By Season 3 promotional interviews, those exact same types of questions were met with vague non-answers, awkward pauses that lasted too long, and obvious deflection to safer topics about their characters' journeys or the show's themes. Entertainment industry professionals started publicly sharing observations about how genuinely unusual this level of visible tension was during major promotional campaigns. Most professional actors, even those who genuinely dislike each other behind the scenes, are skilled and experienced enough to maintain convincing professional relationships during press tours because their careers and the show's success literally depend on it. The fact that the Summer I Turned Pretty cast couldn't even fake basic harmony convincingly during promotional appearances suggested the underlying conflict ran much deeper than typical workplace disagreements or personality clashes.
The contrast became impossible to ignore as dedicated fans started creating comparison videos between their current interviews and earlier seasons. The energy was completely and fundamentally different in ways that couldn't be explained away. The spontaneous moments, inside jokes referencing shared experiences, and genuine affection that characterized early promotional content had completely evaporated. What remained was professional courtesy at absolute best and obvious discomfort at worst. Fans who had fallen deeply in love with their cast chemistry were now watching that same chemistry crumble in real time during what should have been a celebration of their show's massive success and cultural impact.
The situation reached another concerning level when observant fans started meticulously analyzing the cast's individual social media accounts and discovered they had essentially stopped interacting with each other online entirely. No more friendly comments on each other's personal posts, no more shared behind-the-scenes content from filming, no birthday wishes or public congratulations for professional achievements and career milestones. Their social media presence had become completely compartmentalized, as if they existed in entirely separate universes, rather than working together on the same massively successful show. The contrast with other popular teen drama casts became starkly obvious when fans started making detailed side-by-side comparisons. Shows like Outer Banks, Stranger Things, and even older series like The Vampire Diaries have maintained cast friendships and consistent social media interactions that suggest genuine affection and ongoing relationships even years after their shows ended production. Meanwhile, the Summer I Turned Pretty cast seemed to be actively avoiding any public association with each other whatsoever beyond what was contractually required for promotional obligations.
Dedicated fans noticed the unfollowing patterns, the complete lack of engagement on posts, the total absence of the casual, friendly interactions that used to regularly flood their social media feeds. This wasn't accidental or coincidental. This was deliberate. This was obvious. And it confirmed what everyone paying attention had been suspecting for months. Whatever was happening behind the scenes had completely destroyed any semblance of friendship these actors might have once had during those early seasons when everything seemed perfect. The people who played characters so deeply in love with each other that millions of fans shipped them passionately couldn't even manage a polite, supportive comment on a basic Instagram post. This level of public disconnection and obvious avoidance was genuinely unprecedented for a cast that had so recently been actively promoting their show as one big happy family who loved working together. The shift was dramatic, undeniable, and impossible for even casual observers to ignore.
Fans who had invested emotionally not just in the fictional relationships, but in the real-life friendships and cast dynamics were watching those bonds disintegrate in real time across social media. And that same social media, the platform that had helped build the show's massive initial success and devoted following, was now brutally exposing just how broken and damaged the cast dynamic had truly become behind the carefully managed public image.
The third and final season of The Summer I Turned Pretty premiered in summer 2025 amid all this swirling controversy and fan division, and viewers immediately began scrutinizing absolutely every scene for any signs of behind-the-scenes tension affecting the on-screen chemistry and performances. Some particularly observant fans claimed they could detect noticeable differences in the energy and authenticity between Lola Tung and Gavin Casalegno's romantic scenes, suggesting their real-life discomfort and fractured relationship was somehow bleeding through into their performances as Belly and Jeremiah. Entertainment industry analysts and critics started discussing extensively how this unprecedented level of publicized cast drama could potentially affect not just the show's immediate reception, but its lasting legacy and the actors' future career prospects. While controversy can sometimes generate valuable publicity and even boost short-term viewership through curiosity, the deeply personal and explicitly political nature of this particular conflict created a far more complex situation with potential lasting professional consequences for everyone involved.
The actual streaming numbers for the final season remained surprisingly strong, suggesting that general viewing audience either genuinely wasn't aware of the extensive behind-the-scenes drama or simply didn't care enough about it to stop watching a show they'd invested in. However, the passionate core fan base that had made the show such an undeniable cultural phenomenon became increasingly fractured and divided, with different factions vocally supporting different cast members and engaging in ongoing social media warfare that continued long after the series officially concluded. Amazon Prime Video's unprecedented decision to issue public warnings about fan behavior and threaten actual bans highlighted how modern celebrity culture and growing political polarization have created an environment where even lighthearted teen romance shows can become genuine battlegrounds for ideological conflict. The fact that a major streaming platform felt compelled to threaten legal action and account bans against paying subscribers simply for how they were discussing a romantic drama demonstrates how quickly online fan communities can spiral into genuinely harmful territory when political beliefs and real-world values enter the conversation.
The entire Summer I Turned Pretty cast drama also raised much broader questions about how much audiences should reasonably know or care about the personal political beliefs of actors, particularly young performers, thrust into the intense spotlight without necessarily understanding how their private opinions and social media activity might dramatically affect their public careers and professional relationships. The intense scrutiny of every liked post and followed account, combined with the expectation that actors should perfectly align their personal views with the values of their fictional characters, created pressure that many entertainment industry professionals argue is fundamentally unrealistic and potentially harmful to young performers. Looking at the complete timeline from the show's initial massive success to the current completely fractured state of cast relationships, it becomes clear that The Summer I Turned Pretty has unfortunately become a cautionary tale about how quickly beloved entertainment can become complicated and damaged by real-world politics and personal conflicts that audiences were never supposed to see or know about. This situation represents a much broader shift in how modern audiences engage with entertainment and public figures, where personal political beliefs have become just as important as professional performance in determining public approval and long-term career success. The cast members learned the extremely hard way that in today's hyper-connected climate, there's genuinely no such thing as private political opinions for public figures, and the values you express online can fundamentally and irreversibly alter your professional relationships and entire career trajectory.
The lasting cultural impact of this controversy extends far beyond just one television show or its specific cast members. It represents changing expectations for celebrities and the impossible standards placed on young performers who are simultaneously expected to be relatable, authentic, and perfectly aligned with their audience's values at all times. The Summer I Turned Pretty became more than just a story about choosing between two brothers. It forced audiences to confront uncomfortable questions about what matters more in their entertainment consumption, the quality of the art itself or the personal beliefs of the artist who created. Whether this intense level of political scrutiny and personal investigation in entertainment is actually healthy or sustainable for anyone involved remains a genuinely open question without easy answers. But the Summer I Turned Pretty controversy demonstrates conclusively that these types of conflicts are likely to become increasingly common as social media continues to completely blur the traditional lines between public and private life for anyone in the public eye. The show that was originally supposed to capture the innocent magic of teenage romance and first love ended up revealing just how complex, politically charged, and genuinely divisive, even seemingly apolitical entertainment has become in our current polarized cultural moment.
The complete story of what happened behind the scenes of The Summer I Turned Pretty is ultimately a reflection of where we are as a society right now. A beloved show about summer romance, first love, and coming of age became ground zero for debates about political beliefs, personal values, and whether we can separate art from artist. The cast that once seemed like the perfect embodiment of their characters' bonds couldn't survive the pressure of fame combined with fundamental differences in worldview. The final takeaway might be that The Summer I Turned Pretty succeeded in ways Jenny Han never intended when she wrote those original books. It didn't just tell a compelling story about Belly choosing between Conrad and Jeremiah. It forced millions of viewers to examine their own values and decide what matters most to them in the entertainment they consume. It raised questions about privacy, celebrity culture, political division, and the impossible expectations placed on young performers who just wanted to act in a show about summer love.
Based on how this entire controversy played out across social media and affected the cast relationships, it's clear that for a significant portion of the audience, personal beliefs and political stances mattered just as much as the on-screen performances and chemistry that originally made them fall in love with these characters and actors. Whether that's progress or a concerning trend toward increased polarization in every aspect of culture remains something each viewer has to decide for themselves. And there you have it. The complete messy saga of how a teen romance show about choosing between two brothers became a full-blown cultural controversy about politics and values. If you made it this far without subscribing, I'm genuinely impressed by your ability to consume content without any commitment whatsoever. Hit that subscribe button because apparently I've dedicated my entire channel to investigating whether attractive people on television secretly despise each other, and someone needs to tell me this is a worthwhile use of my time and film degree. The Summer I Turned Pretty might be over, but these questions about celebrity culture, political division, and impossible fan expectations are just getting started, and I'll be here analyzing every uncomfortable moment.